FTL, one of the best roguelikes ever made, combining fantastic pixel art, an absolutely stellar soundtrack, and incredibly challenging ship-to-ship combat. It's a game that gives everyone, from someone on their maiden voyage into the black to the most hardened veteran captain, something to enjoy. It's a game I've put a lot of time into, but there are still some achievements left in the galaxy that I haven't earned yet. This series will follow my attempt to claim those remaining accolades and have some fun while doing it. So, report to the bridge and join me as I continue my quest to finally finish FTL, Faster Than Light. Hello again. Did you enjoy the flashy intro? I know, but the network insisted. Anyway, welcome back to the Get All the Achievements in FTL Even Though You're 8 Years Too Late series. That really needs a snazzier name. Welcome back to Slower Than Light. In this video, I'll be chasing the achievement Giving Her All She's Got, Captain, as well as fighting the urge to do a terrible impression of James Doohan. This time we need to fulfill a fairly simple criteria, having a total of 29 units of power in our Zoltan ship's main systems at the same time. However, the simplicity ends there. We need to not only produce 29 units of power, but that power has to be used, so just upgrading the generator isn't enough. Generator upgrades are expensive, as are system upgrades, so we're going to need a whole bunch of scrap to make this happen. Not only that, a fully upgraded generator produces 25 power, so we'll need an additional 4 power coming from either our Zoltan crew members or a temporary boost from the backup battery. The Zoltan are a race of Energizer Bunny Scooby-Doo ghost people. They are fragile, but also provide a free unit of power to any system they are present in. Due to this unique combination of traits, they also explode like a grenade when they die. Having a cloning bay in your ship means you can use them as a cheap form of ammunition if things get a little bit dicey. They have a fairly solid choice of ships, but for our purposes, Zoltan C, the Serenkov, will be our best bet. It starts out with an absolutely tiny power output of 2, but has 4 Zoltan crew members and an upgraded backup battery, meaning it can add up to 8 units of power without needing to touch the generator. To help keep track of the power situation, I'll put a handy little tracker up there, in the corner. The number on the left is our maximum power output, the number on the right is our power capacity. Once both numbers are 29, we can fill our systems with juice and earn the achievement. Let's leave the hangar and see if we can light ourselves up like Blackpool illuminations. Okay, let's get the ship we want. I have to say, I have a good feeling about this. Zoltan ships generally feel pretty powerful and it's going to be one of those runs, isn't it? Round 2. Clearly this ship requires a little more finesse than I thought. Starting with such a small reactor and no direct damage means most fights seem to be running around keeping the ship together, while the beam drone slowly chips down the enemy. To pull this achievement off, we're going to need a lot of scrap, so picking up the scrap recovery arm early on is great. That 10% boost really starts to stack up the sooner on you get it. Having a cloning bay and 4 untrained Zoltan crew members means that in drastic close quarter situations, they could be weaponized into a cheap alternative to a hand grenade. Don't worry, they'll be back. It's just like having a nap. I know some people think it's a waste of an augment, but the long range scanner is something I just don't feel comfortable without. I hate warping right into the middle of an ion storm or a solar flare, or into chemistry class the day after you got kicked out of college and the staff told your parents but they decided not to tell you and let you come in as some kind of lesson, and everyone in the class knew about it before you did and the word awkward just doesn't seem strong enough to express how that felt. Oh, asteroid fields too, like to avoid those where we can. Okay, that run had some good setup for getting scrap, but didn't really have anything going for it in terms of combat ability, so that wasn't exactly a surprise. Third time's the charm. As long as I keep my wits about me and don't make any stupid mistakes, we should be fine. Editing Ubernook here. I'll be doing the commentary for this section, because during the run I apparently lost my ability to read. So we turn up to a store and I see a chain ion cannon, and get very excited at the idea of shredding enemy shields with rapid fire electricity. But I failed to notice 2 glaring things. You see right here where it says chain power and then next to it says more damage. That means each successive shot gains stun power, it doesn't fire any faster. and at 14 seconds per shot, getting through shields isn't really an option. Then I stopped scraping the bottom of the barrel of bad ideas, because if I can't be the best, I might as well be the worst. The chain ion takes 3 power to use, our current charge ion takes 2, so when I sell our only weapon to afford the chain version, we can't actually power it. On top of that, we don't have the scrap to upgrade the weapon systems to use the new cannon, so until I get more scrap, I just run away from any fights until a passing NG ship spots this moron swearing at himself while speeding through space and offers us some spare change. Finally, we get to use the coveted chain ion and... yeah, it's terrible. Then we exploded. Live stupid, die fast. Our first warp is straight into an asteroid field. That's a rocky start. 4 fuel for a Vulcan? Okay. I know I just died because of my fondness for chain weapons, but the Vulcan is something else. I know this one gains fire rate with each shot, and I have won some runs in the past solely down to this gun. Forget the achievement, my current goal is to get this thing up and running. Charger Laser Mark II. If you'd shown up like 2 jumps earlier, you'd be the star of this whole run. But sadly you're going to get pawned for scrap so we can get the real MVP ready. Hull Laser? I barely know her. Oh, 5 is more than 4. When did that happen?
I am heavy weapons guy. And this is my weapon.
An automated reloader? Oh, FTL, you are too kind.
Try some more.
Pretty sure it can get through 4 shields, no problem now. Some more post-run commentary here. So we get boarded and they go straight for the cloning bay. Instead of sealing off the rest of the ship and venting all the air out, I send a crack team of 3 explodey boys down there to take them out, assuming they can get them low enough so their death explosions will finish them off, and they can just respawn. But what happens when you assume? That's right, you f**k up. The enemies survive, and I panic, and decide to vent the air now, and send someone down to stop them. If the cloning bay goes down, everyone who's currently being cloned is gone for good. I had to stop them. I had to accidentally hit my recording hotkey and miss out on all the action and heroics. Good job, me. Well, that certainly could have gone better. At least we have air to breathe now. That's about all we have, mind. The next few sectors are fairly uneventful. The crew might be gone, but the Vulcan still works, so as long as we can keep our shields up and our engines on, it can tear through any ships we encounter. We pick up an NG to help out with repairs until finally, we get to the final boss. Well, there's no way we can get enough upgrades now to get the achievement, but let's go down fighting at least. We actually managed to beat its first form. This is what the Vulcan is capable of, people. It just downed the final boss at full power without trying. Phase 2 didn't go so well though. Turns out strapping a huge minigun to the top of something with the structural integrity of a pink wafer biscuit doesn't make for an invincible battleship. Okay, what lesson did we learn from that last attempt? Don't idolize one weapon above all other systems and functions of your ship. It's 2021, all weapons are valid. Halberd beam or fire beam? A halberd can pierce one level of shield, and fire doesn't work on Lanius ships because they don't have any oxygen in them, so we'll take the former. I always enjoy beating up slaver ships for a free crew member. Also because slavery's bad. It's also weird how the second you accept a surrender that your weapons stop doing damage, so the halberd beam ripping through the upper decks of their ship suddenly becomes a harmless laser pointer. I think we'll sell the drone, it's not really doing much, and pick up the teleporter. With 2 mantis on board, we'd be silly not to. Or maybe we'd be silly either way. So rock beats mantis, which means mantis beats paper. Noted. Those are some impressive guns you have there, Mr. Rebel Fighter. Fancy a trade? You can have Mullet and Allison for that Vulcan. They're mostly house trained. I'll take that as a no then. I think we're on to attempt 6 now. I'm learning to appreciate the dodge chance of our ship. Our Zoltan shield can take 5 hits from anything before breaking, but if we can get our dodge chance to be 50%, we're looking at more like 10 hits, which is usually enough time to start doing some actual system damage. Doing some diplomacy here, and we're rewarded with a Zoltan shield for this event. But we already have one, so we just get scrap instead. It's the FTL equivalent of, oh I love it, but did you keep the receipt? Long range scanner again, I'll never not take it, otherwise it feels like driving to work before clearing the snow off your windscreen and trying to convince yourself that all those noises were just unusually loud speed bumps. Never hurts to upgrade our defences, but I think we'll need to buy some extra systems. To get the 29 power being used, the cheap first upgrades for new systems will actually take up more power than dropping 200 scrap on the final shield upgrade. We've been given a hull missile as a gift, and we have 24 missiles just sat there doing nothing, so it's probably worth trying it out at least once, right? Evidently not. Teleporter is a decent system to have, but it's mainly just to have more places to store our power. I also didn't know you couldn't have a medbay and a cloning lab together. Would you like a plaster on that scraped knee? Or we could just shoot you in the head and make a new you with better knees. I genuinely didn't see this little store node right up here in the corner. A Beam 2 drone? It's a straight upgrade of what we have right now, so no harm in taking it. Beam 2 isn't exactly the most impressive upgrade ever, but I do like how square he is. We can take Alania's ship, they can't even breathe, so how hard could they be? Oh, he's invisible now. That's fun. Run, 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 fuck, run. Okay, we have the generator upgraded to produce 21 units of power. So with our backup battery giving us 4, and the Zoltan crewmates giving us another 4, we have 29 power available to use. We can currently use 25 power at once, so 4 more upgrades and we'll have the achievement in the bag. But we're also at the final boss, so let's hope we find a nice stash of scrap somewhere before we reach it. The repair stations in this area give us scrap, so that's very helpful. We're so close now. The scrap recovery arm with the clutch final scrap haul. With those upgrades in place, we have the required 29 out of 29 for the achievement. However, we can only activate the drone while in combat. So let's head to the final boss with our heads held high. Backup battery on, life support and teleporter cranked, drone activated. There it is. This took so much more work than my previous video, so if you're feeling generous, a like and a subscribe would be much appreciated. Next time, we'll be taking things in the total opposite direction to this run, as we tackle the achievement, I don't need no stinking upgrades. See you then, and thanks for watching.